There's a specific type of person who stays broke their entire life. They're not stupid. They're not lazy. They read books about money. They know what an index fund is. They've watched every Graham Stephan video at least twice. They can explain compound interest to you at a dinner party in a way that makes everyone else feel dumb. And they're still broke. This is actually more common than the opposite. The correlation between intelligence and wealth is weaker than most people think, and in some cases it runs the other direction entirely. Some of the most financially successful people you'll ever meet couldn't tell you what a mutual fund is, and some of the most financially informed people you'll ever meet are living paycheck to paycheck. So what's happening? The first thing is what I call the research trap. Smart people are good at learning. That's the thing they've been rewarded for their entire life. Good grade, gold star, everyone flaps. So when they encounter a new problem, like not having enough money, their instinct is to learn about it first. Read the book, watch the video, understand the system before touching it. This feels productive. It looks productive. You're literally sitting there consuming financial content. But here's what's actually happening. Your brain is getting the reward without doing the thing. Every time you finish a video about investing, your brain logs it as progress. Problem identified, information acquired, dopamine released. You feel like you moved forward. You didn't. You just watched someone else move forward. The person who opened a brokerage account with $50 on a Tuesday afternoon without fully understanding what they were doing has more real financial progress than the person who spent 6 months researching which brokerage to use. Information without action is just entertainment with a better reputation. The second thing is analysis paralysis, but not the version people usually talk about. For smart people, analysis paralysis is an identity protection mechanism. If you're smart, your identity is built around being right. Being wrong is a threat, not just an inconvenience, a threat to the core thing you believe about yourself. So your brain generates more research requirements before you're allowed to act. This isn't caution. This is your intelligence being weaponized against you by your own ego. The person who knows less has nothing to protect. They try things, they fail, they adjust, they try again. Each failure is just data. But the smart person who finally acts after 6 months of research and then fails, that's an identity crisis. So they don't act, and they stay broke. The third thing is that smart people overvalue understanding and undervalue doing. There's a difference between knowing how something works and being able to make it work. A mechanical engineer who has memorized every component of a car engine can still fail to drive if they've never sat behind a wheel. The knowledge is real, the skill is missing. Money works the same way. Understanding how compound interest works doesn't make you patient enough to leave your investments alone for 10 years. Knowing that you should spend less than you earn doesn't make you capable of doing it for 60 consecutive months. Reading about negotiation tactics doesn't mean you can ask your boss for a raise without your voice shaking. The gap between knowing and doing is a skills gap, not an information gap. And smart people almost always diagnose it as an information gap. So they go get more information. And the gap doesn't close. The fourth thing is that intelligence makes you better at rationalizing bad financial decisions. Everyone makes dumb financial choices. The difference is that a less analytical person makes the dumb choice, feels bad, and moves on. A smart person makes the same dumb choice, but first constructs a detailed logical argument for why it's actually reasonable given their specific circumstances. You can build an airtight case for why the expensive apartment is actually an investment in your productivity.
Smart people are usually good at getting jobs. They understand systems, they interview well, they perform, so they end up in decent jobs with decent salaries. And this is where a trap closes around them that's almost invisible. A decent salary is just comfortable enough that the urgency to build wealth disappears. You can pay your bills, you can go out, you can take a vacation once a year. You're not rich, but you're not desperate. And desperate is actually a useful condition for building wealth because it forces action. Comfortable is dangerous. Comfortable means you can keep planning to invest next month. Comfortable means the side project can wait until things slow down at work. Comfortable means you don't have to solve the problem today because the problem isn't actually that bad. And the salary has another effect. It anchors your identity to employment. You're someone who earns money by being useful to a company. The idea of earning money through assets, it feels abstract, theoretical, not really for someone like you. That's for people on YouTube. Meanwhile, the person earning half your salary but running a small service business on the side is building something that compounds. Your salary resets to zero every month. Their business doesn't. The sixth thing is that smart people think about money as a score instead of a system. Wealth isn't a score, it's a system. The score is just what the system produces over time. If you focus on the score, you'll do things that look like progress but aren't. You'll track your net worth obsessively. You'll optimize your tax return for 3 hours to save $200. None of that builds the system. The system is boring. The system is automatic transfers to index funds on the first of every month, one income stream that doesn't require your time, spending habits that don't expand every time income expands. The system doesn't feel like progress. It just runs quietly in the background. Smart people get bored of the system because there's nothing to figure out. So they go find something more intellectually stimulating, and the system never gets built. The last thing is the most uncomfortable one. Smart people often have a subtle belief that money should find them. Not consciously, they'd deny it if you asked, but somewhere in the background is this idea that if you're good enough at something, skilled enough, knowledgeable enough, competent enough, the financial reward will eventually arrive proportionally. This is how school works. You perform well, you get the grade. The system is fair by design. The real world doesn't work like this. The real world rewards people who ask for money loudly and specifically, people who charge more than seems reasonable, people who sell things, people who are comfortable making the ask, following up, closing the deal, talking about money directly without embarrassment. Smart people frequently find all of this distasteful. Selling feels manipulative, charging high prices feels dishonest, talking about money feels crass. And so they produce excellent work, deliver genuine value, and then underprice it or fail to market it or wait for someone to notice. Nobody is going to notice. The smartest person in the room is almost never the richest. And now you know why. Intelligence is a tool. Like any tool, it can build things or it can be used to avoid building things while feeling like you're doing something useful. The fix isn't to get dumber. It's to start doing the thing you've been researching. Open the account, charge the price, make the ask, build the boring system and leave it alone. And if that helped, I'm collecting donations in the form of subscribes to fund the next video.